All right, this isn't going to be a vinyl finds or anything like that. This is just going to be records that I listened to today. But first, before we get into that, let's get into this. I just bought this soft cover book because I couldn't find it in hardback. The Outer Limits TV show at 60. And this is a book telling all about the Outer Limits television show. With pictures from the episodes, and it just goes on and on about the Outer Limits TV show. So if you're a fan of the Outer Limits, you may dig the Outer Limits at 60. All right. Now here's a record I listened to today, and it's called 2 or 3 Times a Day, the Johnny Otis Show Live, featuring Skillet and Leroy. A crazy concoction of wild and woolly skits and bits. For adults only, it says. And you may recognize these two from Sanford & Son. A couple of Fred's Pool Hall character buddies. And on the back, it shows Ann Esther, LaWanda Page. And this is just a crazy comedy album. And it's kind of skits that make you go, I wish I could have been there to see it. It would have been better. Listening to it is okay. It's pretty good. But seeing it would, you had to have seen Skillet and Leroy live. It was like a comedy show. Anyway, it's kind of like Pigmeat. You had to see Pigmeat live. A lot of it was visual. Well, same with these two, Skillet and Leroy. But I didn't end it there. There's more Skillet and Leroy. This one's called The Goodly Soul, the Johnny Otis Show Live. Goodly soul down below, have mercy. You got to ask the Lord above. There you go. It says it's a laugh-filled miracle. And again, this is just like the one I showed you before. Well, it's not just like it. Different jokes, different skits. But yeah, something that I really wish I could find a DVD of Skillet and Leroy, but I haven't come across one yet, so this is as good as I'm going to get. And I appreciate it. I love Skillet and Leroy. Those albums are funny. And here's the little sleeve that came with it, advertising more albums from Laugh Records. You older folks watching this will remember Laugh Records because that was the Richard Pryor label. And I think, who else was on Laugh Records? Richard Pryor, he was like the big one. All right. Oh, and here's the album to The Goodly Soul. All right, I also listened to this record. Sound effects, guard dog on premises, no trespassing, beware of dog. And what this album is I think it's 2 or 3 dogs in a kennel, and they're barking. And that's all it is. This is just 2 or 3 dogs barking. Each side is probably 12 minutes long. It's a sound effects album. And I listened to it today. Bark, bark, bark. That's what those dogs did on this album. All right. And here's another animal record I listened to today. This is Die Call, which I think they were bird calls. Yeah, they were a bird call company back in the 60s and 50s. And this is a record album that they made called The Mallard Sound, a lesson in duck calling. And it's a guy talking, and he's teaching you how to use these duck calls to call in the ducks. And I listened to this today. It was fun. And here's the album. The Mallard Sound. All right, and this is the last one I listened to today. This is called A Child's Cry, A Clue to Diagnosis, and this is made by the Pfizer Corporation, of all people. And here's an advertisement for penicillin G tablets and syrup on the back by Pfizer. And this is a doctor explaining to you that the next sound you're going to hear is a child born with whooping cough, or a child born with a cleft lip, or a child born with cystic fibrosis, or croup, or bronchospastic sound of bronchial asthma, a child with hydranencephaly. And it's a diagnosed record, so he talks a little bit and explains to you what you're about to hear, and then you hear a recording of a child crying that has one of these maladies. And I listened to this today. And here's the album to it. And those are the albums I heard today, by choice. Nobody made me. I'm just that messed up. All right, that's the end of this video. Oh, and if you're thinking about getting the Outer Limits Blu-ray DVDs, ooh, get an extra job. Those things are kind of expensive. They want a lot of money for them. You know, like $130 for each little set of Blu-ray discs. Anyway, okay, those are the records I listened to today.